And let's shift our focus to vaccines now. Now, India's vaccination rate has been impressive, or at least is picking up now finally after a huge lull period. But at this point, the two vaccines available in the country at the moment, Covishield and Covaxin. And while Covishield does have the WHO approval, Covaxin, created and manufactured here by the Bharat Biotech, has not got it yet. We try to understand from Dr. Guleria the reason behind it.
India is one country and therefore we need to develop a holistic solution. And it seems that the manufacturers also want to deal with one source rather than multiple sources. And therefore a strategy needs to be developed. It could be either looking at it from a center point of view or as a group, what can be done from different states. But I think there has to be some comprehensive strategy because vaccines are needed. We need to see how best we can get them and how best we can distribute them for the entire country. And how one can come out with a mechanism where it is distributed equitably.
All right, so let's talk about vaccines in a bit of detail now with our guest joining us this morning. We've got Dr. Rajesh Chawla joining us from the Indraprastha Apollo Hospital, and Dr. P.S. Narang is back with us. Good morning, doctors. Thank you so much for your time. Dr. Narang, first to you. We are talking at a time when vaccination seems to be picking up. It is not a reason to get really happy about it just yet, because it's the pace we need to keep up. We need to vaccinate a lot of people. We're also talking at a time when claims have been made by some in the government that India will end up vaccinating all its citizens by the end of the year. Let me first start by asking both of you a quick reality check. Do you think that's a possibility with the current pace of manufacturing and vaccination?
Yeah, I think so, because you see, if there is a will, we can do everything. It has to be a political will. Find out when we can hold elections of 125 crore people, and we can definitely vaccinate. If there is availability of vaccine and a system is developed, it is very much possible. May not be total, but somewhere near the target we can achieve by December.
Okay. Dr. Narang, your views?
Yeah, definitely what Rajesh has mentioned, that it is the political will which is required. Besides that, the confidence of everybody, the confidence of doctors, the confidence of the public, and the confidence that the vaccine is there to prevent the serious disease, and the vaccine is the only way to build a herd immunity in our community. And if the herd immunity is built up, then we will stop the disease. We need about 70 to 80% in the herd immunity, which can be only achieved either by vaccination or by the natural disease. And we know the natural disease is a killer. Natural disease has left so much devastation around that we don't want to go that way.
Right. But coming back to vaccination, in fact, let me pick on the available candidates at this point. We actually have 3 vaccines available now in the country. But the tricky part here is, and Dr. Chawla, if you could answer that Covishield is the only one which is actually approved by the WHO. Covaxin and Sputnik both at this point awaiting their WHO approvals, and this has led many, especially in the corporate sector, to wonder what's going to happen next. Will there be travel restrictions, etc., and also making people wonder on the authenticity of the vaccine altogether. While all data at this point and all that the doctors are telling us, the Prime Minister himself took Covaxin, if I remember correctly, and is that enough to sort of convince people to go ahead with it, or what is the delay with the WHO in your mind?
I think the WHO basically makes a decision basically based on the evidence. So then the quality of evidence. Probably it is a matter of time. I think they will get a WHO approval for these vaccines. And we have found that in India, it has been people who have got it, whether the Covaxin or Covishield, they are not getting severe disease. You know, I have been doing intensive care, and in this wave also there are hardly few patients, if I have to remember, even on finger of one hand there will be less than that, who have been double vaccinated and landed in the ICU with the severe disease. So these are both effective, and the trials and the evidence and the publications, all this WHO takes into account before giving an approval. Right, I think it's a matter of time.
Right, but Dr. Chawla, having said that, we did see a lot of deaths of even doctors who'd been vaccinated with both the doses. And we've seen enough and more evidence even at this point of people losing their lives with after one vaccination itself, where the efficacy is said to be at least 33% in one of the cases. Dr. Narang, if you could answer that.
Can I?
Okay, please. Sure.
Yeah. See, the odd cases would be there.
Right.
These are not 100% efficacious. I mean, they are in 90s. So some odd death you would hear, and which you pointed out. But, most of the people, they will get a mild disease if they have been vaccinated, and asymptomatic, many of them. So if there are deaths after 2 vaccines, one or odd death, that does not mean that the vaccine is non-efficacious. They're definitely efficacious. And that is the general impression of the studies which have been done. And I think the data, once it is published, it will be more clear.
Right. I think the takeaway from what Dr. Chawla is saying is also the fact that there are going to be rare instances, unfortunate rare instances, but we can't let that, like one size does not fit all. We can't let that be a dominating conversation here and let people believe that vaccines do work. That's been proven time and again. Dr. Narang, let's come to the efficacy of these vaccines, and a latest data and study that you and I shared some time ago as well was also on that, on how much protection does the vaccine give you after the first doses itself? And I ask you this question, understanding that majority of 18 plus in the country at the moment have only had their first dose. So compared to Covishield, Covaxin, Sputnik, how do they fare at this point?
Yeah, your very, proper question at the moment. I think the thing is 18 to 45, we have to consider that their immunity is going to be better than the senior people. Right. But that doesn't mean one dose will be enough. Sputnik and Covishield, they both are viral vector vaccine. And with the one dose, you get immunity level. Now, that immunity level needs to be boosted by the second dose. And the second dose is required to boost up. But now, I will put you in a very proper situation that when we check the efficacy, if I'm checking the efficacy, I'm living in a place, I'm moving around in a place where most of the persons are vaccinated. So then means that the chances of my getting infection is reduced. So the efficacy may turn out to be very good. When you mentioned about that after 2 doses, some doctors got it and there were incidents that they could not survive. The reason was that their viral load was quite high. At that time, not many people were vaccinated. If we say the efficacy is around 70%, and if another group of mine who are all around me are also vaccinated, my efficacy will become better because the chances of me getting infection is from community. And if the community itself is vaccinated, so we need to reach on the peripheries. Because we have done about the doses, which is only about 20 crores or so. Okay. But we need to reach on the masses.
Right. Very important points in what Dr. Narang has just said. Dr. Chawla, just to take it a little forward now, we are talking at a time when India has reported the lowest cases in 45 days at this point. Right, we are looking at a situation where Delhi will begin unlock from Monday onwards. We might look at a national sort of state-wise level unlock as well in several other parts of the country, in UP, etc. For example, is that the best way to move forward over here, or having learnt our lessons from the second wave, what should be the guiding principles as we unlock now?
One thing which is very peculiar about this wave is it had gone up like a rocket and it has come down we never expected it to come down so fast. This is really, we were not thinking within a week. Now I don't see a new case. Every day I was seeing at least 30, 40 new cases in the outpatient.
This is in Delhi, of course, you're saying.
Yeah. And now we don't see a new case. It has just come down. This is I don't know whether it is an effect of the virus or a lot of people are infected, or it is the effect of the lockdown. If it is the effect of the lockdown, then naturally we have to be extremely careful because it's not very clear what is the reason that it has come down so fast. So I think it should be in a graded manner, the lockdown, I think, which has been planned by the various chief minister. I'm sure they should do in a graded manner, and based on the new cases, they should open up further, because India can't afford various again and again lockdown.
Right. Dr. Narang, your views?
Yeah, Rajesh is very right, that the wave came very, very fast. And at that time, this virus which was going around had a very high spreadability. I mean, every house, like when Rajesh said he was seeing 30 cases, even as a pediatrician, I was seeing not less than 15 cases a day. So which is very high number for a pediatrics. And the wave spread, and the R0 of this virus was so high that not anybody could escape. And the only way to escape was to remain isolated. At that time, the number has become a lot. Definitely the lockdown, everybody was inside. So the new cases could only go in the house, but not beyond the house. So when we go now to the phase where unlock happens, we have to be very, very careful that we must keep our mask and hygiene very on the high standard until we achieve a very good vaccination rate. And this is the only way. And otherwise, from the second wave, the chances of third wave, because if first case spread to 5, the 5 cases spread to 25 and 25 to 125. So the magnitude becomes very high, even at the denominator of 10, that goes in thousands. So we have to, any symptom, we have to isolate ourselves, take treatment, and don't ignore that this may be corona or may not be corona.
Right, may or may not be, but we have to be very cautious as we step ahead. Dr. Chawla, I also want to understand with you what is on everybody's mind right now, which is if you have in urban India, at least you have some bit of population at least where those above 45 have received both their jabs. And then there are younger people who've got one jab. As unlocking happens and people so far have just been restrained to their homes, there will be a need to go and meet your loved ones. There are a lot of people who've lost a family member. I hear a lot of people saying that I have been double vaccinated. I just want to go and be there for that person right now, for my friend, for my relative who's lost somebody, or somebody's home alone after having lost someone. So there will be this need to go out and meet. What is the best way to go ahead with it? What are some of the things you must keep in mind?
You see, let me tell the whole India, whosoever is watching this show, we have suffered enough. We've lost a lot of friends. There is no one whose one of the acquaintance has not had a problem. So it is the time now. We need to be a responsible citizen. Every one of you should wear a mask when you step out of your house.
Double mask, if I might add to that.
Even single mask is enough, because if you wear a single mask, you protect others, because this doesn't allow the droplets and to go into the air. So you need to wear mask. That's the most important thing. Carry a small sanitizer or keep on washing your hands and keep a social distancing. You have not met your friends for a long time. Please be here for some more time and don't start making parties and all this. Because of them, we had enough people dying because of this. Please restrain yourself for some more time till most of us are vaccinated. Then the whole life is there in front of you to enjoy.
Right. Since till the time everybody is vaccinated, Dr. Narang, can you put a timeline to this maybe? And we know that after 21 days post your second jab is when you attain maximum immunity. We understand about it takes about a similar period to get the maximum output of your first jab as well. But again, this is not to say that you're out to venture out, because the virus is not gone anywhere. And the virus will learn to mutate, as all viruses do. We hope that we'll be able to give ourselves protection and a big, nobody's safe till everybody's safe. That's the motto with these sort of pandemics, right? So what is the way ahead? How do people sort of confront this reality?
Sonal, you have actually mentioned all these points very clearly. The point Rajesh has mentioned, I want to add one more point to this. The spreadability is equal to the way we are with our friends. So if we have a contact of 5 minutes and if we have a contact of 30 minutes, it matters a lot. So,
right.
Okay, you may like to sort of share your grief with your friends and you want to meet them, but both of them are wearing masks, maintaining a distance of at least 2 meters and making this meeting as short as possible, not going and sitting like partying around and so much that it becomes a terrible. Now, you're very right that after the second dose, 15 days after the second dose, we call it that the person has been vaccinated and the person may have attained enough immunity. But as we all know, enough immunity means reaching up to the level of herd immunity. And if we reach up to the level of herd immunity, even 80% is enough. For the rest 20% who have not been vaccinated or immune will be saved from the infection. So maintain, essentially go out only if it is necessary and maintain a good distance and as short as possible. This is not the time to relax and cherry.
Right. All right. All important points there. Thank you, Dr. Chawla, Dr. Narang, for joining us. If I can just sum it up for our viewers, really, we understand that there are certain circumstances where one has to go out. There is no other option. In those circumstances, try and make your meeting as short as possible. Keep the distance as much as possible. Always have your double masks on. And remember the distance, and in the room that you're sitting in, ensure that it's nicely ventilated. There has been so much talk about how the aerosols actually survive for much longer. So very important to keep your households nicely ventilated. That is absolutely key. And try and avoid lifts if possible. That is also a place where the virus is seen to last for longer. So these are some of the tips one must keep in mind only if one really has to step out in these scenarios. One can't really have the guard down just yet. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.